One sec. Okay.
Okay.
Now I started. My bad. Cool, man. Yeah. Go.
Brian Pellman. Yep.
And where are you from?
Originally from Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's been years. But,
like 10, 15, 20?
Since
you
probably
lived there?
more like going on 30.
30.
I just went and visited on 2016, but I had not been home for over probably 20 years at that time. So
Yeah.
it's 2016. Well, we got 2019 now. So.
What made you want to go home?
Well, when Rose passed away, I just figured it's time to get up there because my mom is getting up in age. She's 73. My uncle is getting up there. He's in his 80s. You know, my brother, 2 brothers and a sister, and they all got kids, but their kids are grown now.
Are you the oldest, middle, young?
Second oldest.
Second oldest? Okay.
My older brother, and me, my sister, and then my youngest brother. He's 7 years my junior. But us first 3, Brad, me, and Brenda were all exactly 1 year and like 3 months apart. 1 year and 3 months. 1 year and 3 months.
You guys must have been close.
Yeah. And then and Brent is, I don't know, must have been a mistake.
He's a love child.
He's a love child, yeah.
What's your favorite movie, song, and book?
Well, I like all the Lord of the Rings movies.
I love Lord of the Rings,
seen
man.
all 3 of those Lord of the Rings movies. I think there's 4 of them. Oh yeah, there's
They did a Hobbit series
The
now.
Hobbit.
It's really bad.
yeah.
It's really they really fucked it up.
They screwed it up.
Yeah.
Wasn't impressed with The Hobbit.
Which kind of sucks because that was my favorite
Book.
Yeah. It's such like a fun tale.
Yeah, it is. But the movie, they kind of screwed up on that movie.
I heard the director last minute bailed, and they had to replace him, and they begged Peter Jackson to come in, which is why The Hobbit was so bad.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And then let's see. Favorite song. Well, I guess one of my favorites is Rush, Limelight.
I don't think I've heard that.
Living in the limelight, the universal dream for those who wish to be.
Maybe. I'm gonna Google it.
It's a good song. Limelight, Rush. What else? What did you want?
This is the tough one. Favorite book?
Oh, book. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to go with the entire Tolkien series.
Yep, that's a solid one.
That's it.
I read Lord of the Rings as a kid, and it just didn't resonate with me. I just think a lot of it went over my head because I read it recently and I was like, it was just beautiful.
See, I didn't even get turned on to it until I was already in my late 20s.
Yeah, that's a perfect time to read it.
Yeah. And once I got started on it, man, I read through the whole series in probably 2 weeks.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's you were reading, man.
Reading son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I'd usually, and that was down in Texas when I started reading it, and I don't think I watched TV for that entire 2 weeks. Just straight get off work and straight to the book, man. Straight to the book.
And it's the worst feeling when you're like almost finished and you want to finish, but you know you won't have it.
I ain't
anymore.
gonna be able to, man. I gotta go to sleep. It's 11 o'clock at night. I gotta go to sleep, and you only got like 10 pages left.
Yeah. What's your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory. God, if I know. That's a damn good one. I had some pretty good ones. We had a great big, it's like a 60-foot pine tree in our yard, and it's got the branches all the way to the ground, right?
Yeah.
And when it would snow, I'd climb up inside and then jump down onto the branches and sail,
Oh, is the snow just like padded your fall?
Yeah.
Really?
Because it's all, the branches were so big, this is a big freaking tree, right?
Yeah.
So you can jump up, I'd jump onto the branches and just slide right down the branches on the snow, man, and then...
That's like from a cartoon or something.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. I think that's probably where I got the idea.
That's cool.
So that was one of my favorite memories, was sliding down the tree.
That's cool. What's the most beautiful thing in life?
The most beautiful thing in life? I don't know. That's a tough one. Well, the most beautiful thing in life is, I love nature. So you see these trees here? These oak trees?
Yeah.
Whenever I'm out of paints and shit now. My paints got stolen. So, but I like to paint nature.
Really? Like acrylics
so my favorite
or oils?
thing in life is, oils.
Yeah.
Oils and acrylic, but I kind of got rid of the oils because it's so much work, to keep the brushes clean, and you gotta, it's just more work, With the acrylics, you just squeeze the tube and instant paint.
You're good to go.
With oils, you gotta constantly mix your paint with the oil and get the consistencies, and it's just more work. And the acrylics nowadays, there's just as good at vibrant colors as the oils.
Yeah.
So
you usually
lot
paint
less
like
maintenance. All you need is a cup of water.
Yeah. You usually paint like landscapes or?
Yeah. Landscapes, trees, blow-ups, hummingbirds. I like flowers. I'll get right up into a flower and study the texture and the stamens and whatever inside.
That's cool.
So when I paint them, that little flower would be this big on my canvas.
Someone stole all your equipment?
Yep. Sure did. And so that's one hard part about being homeless is finding some place to stash your stuff.
Yeah.
Without having to carry it around everywhere you go all the time, every day, you know? So I found a little stash spot for my shit, and I guess what they call these kids out here, the gutter punks.
Yeah, I just met some.
They come into town and all of a sudden my shit disappears. I'm like, God damn, man. So I'm down to these clothes I got on my body, and I got 3 extra shirts, and that's it. I haven't got any more pants.
Damn.
I mean, I had gotten a whole bunch of socks and pants and stuff for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and by February, my shit was stolen. So I got to enjoy my clean, fresh clothes for just that 1 month, and that was it, man.
Damn.
I stashed it all away, thinking I had it in a good spot, man, because you really have to work at getting it,
I bet that's like an absolute art.
Well, it's been very difficult around here. That's the one thing around here I've found is that there's a lot of thieving.
Really?
I've been homeless down there in Florida, on and off between living with Rose and then being homeless after she passed away, and I never got my shit stolen.
Mm-hmm.
I came here, and within a month, my shit's stolen. It's like years worth of shit too. Nice big duffel bag. That was it was a dive bag.
That's perfect.
Originally,
very rugged material.
Real rugged material, yeah. And it was, it was for hauling tanks and scuba gear and shit, But I just turned it into my backpack, my duffel.
Did you used to scuba dive?
No.
No?
I have once. I went through a course, and then they did a test dive in a swimming pool, and then a friend of mine and I rented some scuba gear, and I did one dive off of the coast of Florida over there. But that's been it, just that one dive in the ocean.
What's the worst season of year for living on the streets?
Well, winter.
Yeah.
Especially, because down here winter is rain.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I didn't quite appreciate is the fact that it rains like cats and dogs, and you can be miserable for days on end, man. And it's staying dry is the challenge. Because once you get wet and your shit's wet and your clothes are wet, you're gonna catch a cold, you get sick.
Yeah.
So staying dry is the hardest part, and that's in the winter time. Like in the summertime when it rains, you just put on shorts and stand out in the rain,
Yeah, just like wash.
Yeah, no big deal. But in the wintertime, man, you don't want to get wet and cold. That's miserable.
What's the worst drug you've seen on the streets?
Well, lately, one of the worst for me is crystal meth. That is, that'll tear you up. That'll tear you up. And I did crystal meth for about 6 months. And I went from 155 pounds down to 125 pounds in that 6 months.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Bad shit. Because you don't eat, or if you do eat, you gotta force yourself to eat because, it's just that methamphetamine, man. It knocks out your appetite.
What's it feel like?
Feels like 20 gallons of coffee all at once.
Jeez.
That's what it feels like. And it keeps you up. I mean, I went, the longest I went was 5 days without sleep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and that was just, I think what I do, I snorted like a 1/4 gram. And I was up for 5 days straight. Miserable, man.
That's like an adult sleepover.
It's fun at first, but then when you get to the 3rd day and the 4th day, and then you're seeing shadows, and you want to go to sleep, but you can't go to sleep. You lay down and you just sit there and jitter. Man, so when I finally quit that shit, I promised myself I'd never touch it again, and that's been it's been years now. But
how'd you quit?
I just quit.
Yeah.
I just quit. Did a lot of drinking.
Yeah. But was there like a moment that like you said to yourself like I need to get off this, or?
Yeah. When I weighed myself on the scale and I realized, man, oh man, I went from 155 pounds down to 125 pounds. I said I could see I was getting turned into a skeleton. I was like, that's it, man. I got to quit this shit. So I just stopped doing it.
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
How'd your body react?
Cold turkey with beer.
With beer? Yeah. That's probably smart.
The alcohol helped bring me down. It kept me from getting severe jitters.
Yeah.
Because I got the jitters pretty bad, but the alcohol helped temper that off. So I haven't touched it. It's been years now. See, I don't even remember the last time I tried it. It's been a long time now. But that's the worst. But I heard now that this fentanyl and shit going around is really screwing people up.
Really?
From the cocaine and fentanyl, they're doing like, what do you call that? What
Is that speedballing?
Speedballing,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of that going around out here right now. But not for me. I don't touch that shit. All I do now is smoke a little pot and drink my beer.
Yeah.
That's it. Too old for that other shit nowadays.
Yeah. That stuff will put you under.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best state and the worst state for being homeless?
Well, I think one of the best states was either Texas and Florida were both pretty good. And this is my first experiment with homelessness here in Louisiana. But let's see, the worst state I was homeless in had to be Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, man, Mississippi always gets ragged on.
Well, there must be a reason for it. I don't know. Everyone's, they're all, I don't know what you want to call it. I just didn't get along with people there. You know, I don't know what it is. I can't really put my finger on it. It's like just uppity, self-righteous. I don't know what it is. It's just so. Needless to say, I spent about 3 weeks in Mississippi, and I had to get out of there. I tried Biloxi, I tried Gulfport, and I just didn't like it. Even though it's right there on the coast. I mean, Gulfport is all right, but I couldn't get no work. And the people, I don't know. You know, when they find out you're homeless, they just seem to look down on you.
Yeah.
You know? Which is kind of common everywhere, but
Like more
it
so?
just seemed to be more so in
Yeah.
Mississippi than any other state. I spent most of my homelessness was in Texas and Florida, and those are my two main states that I spent the most time homeless in, except for now. You know, this one's coming in third now.
Yeah.
Louisiana. I don't know how long I'm going to be staying here. I was gonna go down to Corpus Christi right after Halloween, and then I don't know what changed my mind. I decided to just stick around for a little bit longer. I wanted to stick around for Mardi Gras, so I got through that.
Was that your first Mardi Gras?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Crazy. I liked it though. I like it. It's crazy, man. But everyone is, you know, jovial and friendly.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't all this looking down on you type. You know, it's kind of a homeless friendly town here. It seems like to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't gone hungry, and the weather's been fairly decent, you know, except for over Christmas there. It was pretty rainy and miserable during Christmas.
Yeah.
Now that that's over, and today's the first day of spring, right?
Is it?
I think so. Today or tomorrow, one of the other.
It's March 20th.
Today's the 20th. So I guess tomorrow's the first day of spring then, huh?
Yeah.
I really like Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi was good to me as far as homelessness goes.
How do you find work when you're homeless?
Mainly what I was doing was go to labor halls. Day labors is what I usually do whenever I get to a new city. I try to find the first day labor I could find, you know. Hit the phone book and look up the day laborers and find out where the shelter is, you know, where the homeless shelter is and where the day laborers are. And so that's the first thing I do whenever I get to a town. Here was pretty easy, just straight to the quarter, you know.
Yeah. What do you think of shelters?
I prefer to stay outdoors.
Mm-hmm. Why?
I don't know. I'm not a good rule follower.
Yeah. So they have like
I'm
a lot
awful independent. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So I'm not really big at following their rules and regulations. That and it can get. Well, you got all the different personalities from the streets, you know, and it just seems to be more conflict than peaceableness. So I kind of stay away from shelters, unless it's, you know, unless it gets desperately cold or something like that. But even this winter, I stayed outdoors. But I had good blankets and stuff too until they got stolen. And
who's the most?
Stole my shoes. I'm running it through my head what all they fucking stole from me. But, I had a nice pair of leather shoes and work boots. That's another problem, you know. Now that I don't have work boots. And a lot of what I do for work is if I see a contractor painting a house or working inside a house or something, especially around here, I just walk right up to him and say, "Can you put me to work for the day?
Yeah.
You got a couple hours for me? You got anything I can do for you?" And sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes it's, "No, sorry, don't need you, you know. Just move on." But usually when I walk up to a contractor or whatever, usually they'll put you to work at least for a couple of hours, you know.
Yeah.
They'll be like, you know, we could use a little cleanup around here, and I'll be like, all right, I'll clean it up for you, you know. Or like the painters, I'll put you to work, but you got to prove to me you can paint. But I've been a painter for years, so
Yeah.
that was between the moving companies and painting companies are my two main jobs. And the good thing about those two particular skills is that every city you go to, they need movers or you need painters, you know? So it's almost a guaranteed employment besides restaurant work.
Yeah.
Like down here, restaurant work, but I've tried to get in some of these restaurants down here, but they're all pretty packed up. You know, they got their people and they ain't going nowhere, you know. So while I've been here, it's just been painting and furniture moving. But now I haven't worked in over a week now, probably 2 weeks since I worked. So it's kind of rough. But there's always food. There's food every day, so you can't go hungry. They got a couple churches. They got the Oz Center. You got the St. Jude's Church up there, and the Oz Center downtown. So there's always someplace to go eat. You know? So I ain't worried about it. I haven't had to worry about food at all since I've been here. So that's a good thing.
Who's the most interesting, the meanest, or the saddest person you've met out here?
Well, I've seen this poor dude that he was all doped up, man, walking around with barefoot. I mean, this was back there in the wintertime.
Shit.
I mean, it was raining, it's cold, and he's walking around with a flannel shirt, a t-shirt, and a pair of pants. No shoes, no socks, no hat, no jacket. I mean, that guy must have been miserable. And I didn't really talk to him except for, you know, I said, "Man, you ain't got no shoes?" And he goes, "No, I got stolen." more thieving, you know. It's like, damn, man. Take your shoes off to lay down at night is probably what he did.
Yeah.
He probably took his shoes off when he laid down wherever he was laying down. He woke up and his shoes are gone.
Man, that's got to be cold.
That's gotta suck. His feet were looking bad too, man.
Were they inflamed?
Yeah. I told him to go to the hospital, man, or something. He's like,
You see
I'm okay. And he just wandered on, you know. I guess doing that dope more important, you know.
You see a lot. Have you ever heard the term Trustafarian?
Yes.
Like the rich kids that pretend or like go live as like street kids for a while, but you know they can always go back home. Do you see that around here?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, what I've seen down here is just last week, a husband and wife pulled up and parked over there at Century Park.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, they're opening up the back of their. They had like a SUV, and I opened up the back and they pulled out their monster backpacks.
No way.
And and changed their clothes. They would just change their clothes into the grubby clothes and throw on the backpack and come up here and
Panhandle? I've heard.
And they ain't homeless. You know, and they're walking, you know, and then they get done with their panhandling, they go back, take it all off, put it all back in the back of their truck, put their nice civvy clothes back on, and off they go. I was like, man, you're giving homeless people a bad rap, man.
Yeah. Because it makes.
That's just not right.
Yeah.
At least to me. Damn, I'm up there. And let's see, what else? What was the other question?
It was the most interesting, meanest, or saddest person.
Oh. Well, that sad person was the one that.
The guy with no shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't really met any mean people. And most of the people I've met here in the park are, even though some of them, a lot of them are homeless, but they're fairly happy, contented, I think.
So how'd you end up here?
I met a woman down in Riviera Beach, Florida, and she said that she was going to be traveling to California, but she wanted to stop here for Halloween. I said, well, I'm coming with you then. She goes, good, I need a travel companion, because there was nothing keeping me down there in Florida anymore, you know. Rose had passed away, and then my...
How'd you and Rose meet?
We met at a homeless shelter.
Okay, you told me that, sorry.
And then, and within a year, we both got work. We had both just basically got there at about the same time. She was there about a week before I was there. And we met at the homeless shelter, and we started hanging out together, and next thing you know, 12 years has gone away, you know.
Yeah, man.
Because we had both just got into town there, West Palm Beach, and she managed to land that job in that bookstore within a week, and I got work with the moving company right away too. So within a couple of weeks, we were in a house, an apartment. So, and then, so then we stayed in that one house for 5 years, and then we stayed in another house for 3-4 years, and then our final duplex we lived in for another 3 years, and then she passed away. And so I couldn't afford the duplex, so I had to move out, and I moved in with a good friend of ours, a next door neighbor, because he needed a roommate so he could stay in his house. And so I moved in with him after Rose passed away. I stayed with him for a couple months, and then he passed away. So he passed away, so then I went back to being homeless again. So I was living on the beach until I decided, and I met that woman just before Halloween. She said she's coming west, and I said, well, I'm coming with you. So I loaded up my shit into her van, and we made it here. And
Did you guys drive, or?
Yeah, she had a van.
Okay.
And so we made it here. So we actually drove here this time. But I passed through here several years ago. But that was hitchhiking then. That was 99, somewhere around there. So I hadn't been back here in Louisiana, in New Orleans here since 99 or 98, somewhere around there. And then when I was here back then, I had a vehicle back then, and I worked for the auto auction because I had a driver's license, you know. So I worked for the auto auction. And then I don't know what happened. I just decided to go on to Florida. And so I was I went to St. Petersburg first. Didn't really like St. Petersburg, so I hitchhiked across over to what is that? Where they have the bike rallies every year.
Oh, Daytona.
Daytona.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So I went over to Daytona. I stayed in Daytona for about 6-7 months, and then I moved down to. Then I went down to West Palm Beach. I'm losing my time frame. I think I might have stayed in Daytona longer than that. I was only in St. Petersburg for about a month. I didn't like it. Don't know why I didn't like it. I just didn't really like it. And so I went to Daytona, and I got work right away. And so I was like, I'm sticking here. So I stayed in Daytona. It must have been about a year. All day labor, daily work, daily pay. I didn't hire on as a permanent employee anywhere. I just worked with day laborers. So different bosses just about every day, you know.
How have you adapted to living on the streets? Have you like learned anything, like tricks or anything that, like, you know, people who don't live on the streets just wouldn't know?
Well, I don't know how to explain. How do you? Well, there's one thing. A person's got to have patience. You got to have patience to be out here in the streets. You know, you can't get. I got mad about losing my clothes, but you can't get too worked up because, you know, it just happens. You know, so I just have to hit up one of the shelters and the clothing stores, you know, and rebuild my wardrobe.
Yeah.
But I haven't bothered too much right now, you know. I just rotate my shirts. I use the park over there, Century Park, to for bathing. You know, just use the bathroom over there for bathing.
Mm-hmm.
So you could stay clean that way. I haven't shaved in a couple of days.
Yeah, you got a pretty great goatee.
Yeah, I like it. Been working on that for a while. I had it way down here, and I didn't like it way down there. And I can't grow a full beard, so that's why I have the goatee.
You don't go on the sides?
I get splotchy.
Patchy?
Yeah. Looks like hell. But I managed to get this baby to come in pretty good.
That's good. So do you talk to your family?
Yeah, every couple months or so, I'll call up north just to say hi.
You have a phone, or you use a payphone, or?
Well, I had a phone, but I ran out of. I didn't pay
The bill?
for the next
the
month.
minutes?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now I just use it for a clock.
Yeah. Really fancy clock.
One of these days I'll get another phone. Or get a card, you know. Gonna buy a card and log it in. But for right now I'm content. I called my family just a little while ago, so but
Are they pretty worried about you? Are they, understanding?
no, they're not too worried about me.
Yeah.
Because they're used to it.
Yeah.
They know that I can take care of myself, you know. So when I move around, I just try to make sure, like I said, I always try to make sure I investigate every city I go to, make sure I investigate. The main thing is investigate the homeless shelters and the food pantries and the soup kitchens. You know?
Yeah.
That's the main thing right there. Three main things.
Do you wanna get off the streets, or you prefer living on the streets right now?
I was thinking about trying to get indoors, but I gotta get work. But I was offered to live with this dude, but I decided I didn't want to do that. I prefer to be out here right now, I guess, until I get steady enough work that I can get my own place.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't really want to. I'm not really big on roommates. There's always conflicts.
Yeah.
There's always conflict. But like that friend that I lived with down there after Rose died, I had known him for so long, you know, that
Yeah.
it was no big deal because we'd been friends for years and years and years, you know. So there was no problem moving in with him. But as far as I wouldn't want to try to move in with somebody I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
You got any interesting stories from hitchhiking? Or right? Have you ridden trains before?
No.
No.
No, that's one thing I haven't really done was the train riding. I've met a lot of train riders.
Yeah, there's a lot around here.
Yeah, but I haven't done that. Like I said, I usually either hitchhike or greyhound it. But like the ride I got over to here, you know, from Florida to here was basically, it was kind of hitchhiking, you know, because she said, I'm taking a trip out west. I'm on my way to California, but I want to stop in New Orleans. And I said, well, let's go. So that helped. Got here in no time.
Anything you want to tell your family or the world?
I don't know. Nothing I can think of really, except for I love you.
That's cool, man. That's all I got.
That's all you can say, huh?
Yeah.
Very interesting program you got here.
Yeah. And if you can think of any other questions, you know.
No.
I'm just trying to help people really tell their stories. So.
Well, currently, I need to get work. That's my next big thing now, is to get a steady employment. I've been kind of just dicking around, you know, with little work here, little work there, but I'm half tempted to maybe start applying at regular jobs.
Yeah. Is that tough?
Yeah.
I imagine that's really tough.
That's when this homelessness really comes into play.
You know, like, where have you been the past 6 months?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to. I haven't had a tax-paying job with the official pay stub and years.
Yeah.
You know, all been like the day laborers. That's just daily work, daily pay, and I can always go to work if I want to, and if I don't want to, then I just don't go.